Hey, what's up? Back again for a quick little spiritual, philosophical meditation session here. Little wrap. So yeah, I think that it's important for all of us, to believe in what we have to share, and I think that it is valuable when we share our gift, our ideas, our frame of reality, our positivity, our lessons. And I think that it's important, it matters that we put this out into the universe and we allow those vibrations to sort of expand and grow and trigger change in others. I think it's valuable. As Russell Crowe said in Gladiator, what we do in this life reverberates in eternity. Something like that. So it matters. What we do in this life matters in the next, I believe. So I'm taking that on board and I'm trying to believe in that, So I think that when we stop believing these things, when we stop believing that our discipline matters, when we stop believing that doing our meditation every day, even if it's just 3 minutes, 3 times a week, it can feel like, who gives a shit? Who fucking cares? Let's just quit. I'm going to stop going to the gym. Fuck it, I'm going to stop smiling at people when I see them. I'm going to stop trying to think positive. I think that hurts our soul. I think that hurts the fucking universe. I think the gods frown upon these things. And I think they smile upon us when we expand, when we grow, when we try, when we fucking learn, When we fall down, which we all fucking do, we scrape our knees, we fucking scrape our elbows, and we fucking cry when we fall off our bike when we're 10 years old, and we fucking cry. And you know what? It's a lesson that, hey, motherfucker, I'm still alive, and I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna fucking dress the wound, I'm gonna wash the blood off, I'm gonna fucking wipe the tears from my eyes, and I am gonna advance. You know what? I'm gonna advance. Whether that's doing 3 minutes of meditation, going to the gym and trying to do pull-ups, fucking stretching, making a fucking YouTube video to fucking 1.5 people. You know what I mean? Thinking positivity, improving your program, improving your routine, spending time writing your journal. Motherfucking, this is what we do. You know what I mean? And I think at some point you do have to make a decision. I'm either going to be more like some fucking fat idiot who does nothing with his life and plays fucking Call of Duty for 10 hours a day and eats junk food and is a fucking bitter loser and complains all the time and just hates on everyone. Or you know what? I'm going to be more like fucking David Goggins and Jocko Willink and these fucking legends who get up every day and do some shit. And I think sometimes we have to make a decision for ourselves of, who the fuck am I going to be in this life? Because there's no one watching. Man, there's no one watching over you now to ensure that you eat the fucking kale and not the fucking donuts, right? It's up to you. As Alexander Solzhenitsyn, I think his name is that his name? Yeah, and he was a Russian writer, and he wrote the Gulag Archipelago and a few other books about him in the Gulag. If you don't know what Gulag is, it was like a prison system in Soviet Russia in like the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, I think. Probably motherfucking still a few up there. But it was like a massive like prison, like basically like a hard labor, almost like a concentration camp system that the Soviet Russians were running. And there was millions and millions and millions and like tens of millions of people disappeared into these systems and just like got worked to death and starved to death. It's fucking crazy, okay? And this guy, I guess was his name Alexander Solzhenitsyn, or maybe he wrote the book A Day in the Life of Ivan Desanovich. I think that was the book he wrote, A Day in the Life of Ivan Desanovich. Anyway, these Russian names. As he said, the balance of good men and women or bad men and women is not one person or another. It's not one color or another. It's not one political party or another. The fucking line runs between a man's heart. Okay? So it's within his own soul that he makes the decision between good and bad, good and evil, positivity and negativity. We each have the opportunity, and this is a guy who spent years in the gulags under horrible fucking circumstances, and he survived somehow to write about it. And he said that was good or bad. It was a person's decision to get up today again and not sit down and freeze to death. It was a guard's decision not to beat a man to death and just to slightly beat him. Or it was a man's decision to give a small piece of bread to someone to get them through that day. We're talking about life and death here. And so it runs between us, and we all know. Okay, we all know when we're doing the right thing and we're doing the fucking stupid thing. Sometimes we don't always do the right thing, and that's part of being human. That's part of learning. Sometimes we know that it's time to go work out, and we fucking don't. And we just sit at home and we eat fucking donuts and we eat cookies and we watch mainstream television and we fucking derp the fucking day away because it's too hard. You know what I mean? It really is sometimes. And you know what? I think we all have to do that sometimes. Maybe David Goggins had to get to 300 pounds as a fucking donut-eating motherfucker. And he loved his donuts. He loved stopping at 7-Eleven and buying miniature donuts. He liked being overweight. Maybe he had to be overweight. Maybe he had to be working as an exterminator and get to 300 pounds and go to the fucking recruiter's office and ask to join the Navy SEALs, and they said, you have to pass this test, you have to be able to run this far. Maybe he had to get that overweight. Right? Sometimes we have to fail. Sometimes we have to miserably fail. And sometimes we have to know what the right thing is and not do it. Sometimes you just have to not do it. Just so you can sit there and take a look at what you've done and realize that nobody else is going to do it. Right? You have to get to 300. Maybe you needed to get to 300 pounds. Maybe you needed to fucking marry the wrong person 3 times. Right? Maybe you needed to do it. Maybe you needed to live your whole fucking life as a fucking idiot, believing bullshit, right? And maybe you had to do it so that you could finally get to this point and be like, ugh, I can't take it anymore. Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes the universe just lets you fucking fall on your face. You know? Sometimes. And we have to then find a way to get back into alignment with ourselves. And realize I have to start from the bottom again. I'm not above the process. Remember that. You're not above the process. Nobody is. I'm not. You're not. Conor McGregor's not. Michael Jordan's not. No one's above the process. Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, all these legendary people are not above the process. You have to accept the reality that you move like the planets move. You move like the trees move. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you have to grow a little bit in this direction and alter a bit in that direction. That can take time. That can take effort. That can take breathing. That can take fucking acceptance. And I guess that it takes us all different amounts of time and different amounts of suffering and different amounts of fucking failure to come to grips with this. And we're not all perfect, and we don't always do the right thing in life. We don't always eat the fucking kale. Sometimes we eat the kale every day for a month, and then we just can't take it anymore, and we fucking eat ice cream. And then we have to sit there after eating the ice cream, and we have to accept what we've done. And I think this is some of the lessons. Sometimes you have to take the pain. As Barnes says in the movie Platoon, when the guy gets hit with shrapnel and it's like burning in his face and he's screaming and like the Viet Cong are fucking shooting all over the place, and Barnes comes over and just grabs this guy by the fucking face and just holds it shut and goes, "Take the pain." And the guy just fucking shuts up. Just take the fucking pain, man. Take it. That's yours. It's a gift from the universe. Handle it. I love it. See, I love it. I forgot how much I love it. I love the videos. I love it because I'm so fucking harsh and brutal that I like to hear it. I need it. I need to hear my own self. In fact, if you go on my Instagram, I've been releasing these, oh, hello, Green Fairy Boreal. Thank you for joining very much. I noticed you've liked a few of my things. It's very pleasant to have you on board here. Oh, extra hearts. Oh my gosh, you're so lovely. Thank you. I'm just talking about, as always, meditation, enlightenment, spirituality, and all of this. And as I'm saying, I've written some verses, which I'm kind of calling the way of life, which is loosely based upon Lao Tzu's 2,500-year-old spiritual text, the Tao Te Ching, second most translated book in history. Yeah, totally. And it's kind of based upon that. And I recently showed it to a friend. A girl that I know, she was interested, and she was interested in learning about this spiritual path and whatnot. And I showed it to her, and she was just like, she was almost blown away. She was like, "Oh my God, Luke! Like, how did you come up with this? Like, this is fucking brutal. This is just savage." And even as she was saying it, I was like, "Yeah, of course. What's up, Agent Q brother? Thanks for coming on, my man. Legendary. We're back at it today, man. It's a new day. It's a new motherfucking day." And she was reading it, these verses that I wrote. And she was like, "My God, Luke, this is so brutal. This is so savage." I was like, "Yeah, and it's motherfucking true as well." And even as I was saying it, it was hurting me to read the verses that I had written. Yes, yes, man. Back at it, brother. We get up, man. That's what we do, man. We fall down and scrape our fucking knees and we get back up. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Oh, shit. Yep, that's it, girl. Thank you, Green Fairy Boreal. Always the mastermind behind the wise and amazing words. Yeah, man. Yeah, girl, that's what's up. So I'd written these, and even as I was looking at them, they were brutal, right? Even as I was reading the words that I guess came through me, the words came through me via the universe, I suppose, they were almost too brutal for me to even read. It was like she was looking at it and she was like, "Oh my God, Luke, this is savage." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't even want this shit to be true." It's like, that brutal truth when someone just looks at you and you're like complaining. You're like, I don't want to go to the gym. No, it's someone else's fault." And someone's just like, "That ain't no one else's fault, bitch. That's your fault. Get your shit together and go do some fucking pull-ups." And it's like, go and look if you want on the Instagram. I've published a bunch of them on there. You can read them. And it's just, sometimes you need to hear it. And me too. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm not above the process. I'm not above my own brutality. I'm not above anything. And no one is. And we should all love that. And we should all embrace that because it means we're in it together. Right? We're in it together now. We're all playing this game together. And I like that. I like the fact that we're in it together. I like the fact that once you really just assume your own responsibility for living this life and living your own life, the kind of person who you want to be, not the person who your mom told you to be, or your dad, or your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or television, or blah, blah, blah. The actual real life that's inside of you that resonates with what I'm talking about right now and what you feel, you can start to see that, hey, I'm happy about that. I don't care if it's hard. I don't care if it makes me cry. I don't care if it makes me fucking bleed. But at least it's real, right? At least it's real. And at least I know I'm doing something that's powerful. And I'd rather do that. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do that. It's like Tom Cruise said in the... I love to bring up like popular culture references to movies. Who cares? It's like Tom Cruise says in the movie Vanilla Sky. He is a famous actor and stuff, and he gets in a car accident. He's like a attractive guy and everything. He damages his body, his arm, and his face and stuff, and he becomes like damaged like that. And sweet Agent Q, 1 second, I'll get to. And he damages it, but he's very wealthy, so he goes to the doctors and he's like trying to get them to fix his plastic surgery, his face and stuff. And he's like, "Well, how are we doing here? Did you fix my face yet?" And the doctors are like, well, sir, we haven't quite fixed your face, but we're making progress on your arm. And Tom Cruise just goes, fuck my arm. Fuck my arm. Like, I don't care about that. This is my goal. I want to meet this goal. I don't need my arm. I don't need my leg. I don't need it. Like, I'm for this goal. And sometimes I feel like that with things. Like if someone's like, well, Luke, I don't like what you're doing, or I don't understand what you're doing. It's like, it's not important what you think. It's not important to me what the fuck you think. Like, burn it. Right? So we're after what we want. We're after how we feel. What's making me feel good? What do I resonate with? I'm not interested in what a corporation has to tell me. I'm not interested in what the fucking media has to tell me. That doesn't fucking apply to me. I'm open for what improves me. How do I feel better? Okay, let's get to this. Yes, they are intense. I do think you are channeling it from the universe. Okay, thank you, brother. Thank you, Agent Q. I like like a radio tuning in the station for people and ourselves to hear. Absolutely, that's how I feel. That's what I think, man. It really is. There is something in this universe that's like, we tune in. You know what I mean? We have to enhance our conductor. We have to enhance our capacity to be a sufficient conductor so that the universe can send us powerful shit. And whether or not that's woo-woo or whatever, who cares? I don't care. I'm about what's real. I don't need a fucking science experiment to fucking prove it for me. They can do it when they get around to it. But this is how I'm living, and you're right, man. It's like Tesla even said when he was inventing shit. It's like he's like, I didn't invent that shit. It just came to me. So for me to say, write these verses that I've written on there, the way of life, and I'm saying, yeah, the universe sent me that shit. Well, of course it did, because I don't even want to read it. I don't want to fucking read that shit, because it's too real, it's too true, it's too brutal. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, fuck, the universe is right about that. It's not like I'm some magical fucking man in the sky who knows everything all the time. I just try to accept. I just try to embrace what feels real. You know what I mean? What feels, to be honest, the most fucking, as I say sometimes, embrace the horror, right? Sometimes you have to embrace the horrible shit in order to get to the good shit. You embrace the horror. I'm not fucking, what are people running from horror for? Why are you running from pain all the time? Why are you running from fucking your problems? Embrace the motherfucker. Embrace it. Right? Yeah, okay, we got a couple ones here. Agent Q, on a plane, we are taking off. Saw you started. We'll check in tomorrow. Thank you, man, Agent Q. You're a legend, brother. Embrace the horror, brother. Yeah, man. Get at it, man. Do your meditation today, man. I'm going to do mine later. It's another day, man. It's another week. We keep it going, man. We keep this game going. Yes, man. Thank you, brother. We're in it together, my man. Okay. Green Fairy Burial. What have we got here? Brutal is truth. Brutal is real. We have to embrace it all. And a little plant thing, too. Thank you, girl. Yeah, I mean, brutality is beautiful. I love it. Like, the fakeness is not attractive. I don't need fakeness. In fact, you want to know something? I remember one time, this was a few years ago, I was super just like feeling rattled in my life, I remember. And I was sitting at this cafe once, and there was a girl who was sitting there beside me on the next table with her family, and she was clearly very like anorexic, I guess you could say, like very clearly. Like she was like traumatized underweight. And I can still remember sitting there next to her, and it was like something was very like beautiful about her. You know what I mean? And it wasn't the fact that she was super skinny. Like, that's not fucking healthy, and she needed to gain weight for sure. But her struggle was real. I remember looking over at this girl, and I was like, she was so frail, and she was so obviously in immense pain. And I remember thinking, like, wow, she's really something. Like, she's surviving. This girl's trying. She's striving. She's fucking real. You know what I mean? She's fucking real. She's alive. She's still alive. She could have died. She looked like she could have died. She may be dead now. She was wasting away, but I was like, hey, this girl is real. I love that shit. Like, she's fucking beautiful, man. Like, and not because she's super skinny either. She was a real person, and I was digging. I thought that was cool. She was cool. And so, yeah, you're right. Brutal is truth. Let's keep it all going with all this, you know? What else are we going to do? We're on this path now. I'm not fucking going back, man. I'm not going back. I'm not going back to fucking mainstream television. I'm not going back to fucking eating sugar all the time. I'm not going back to fucking lying to people. I'm not going back to hiding from shit. I'm embracing the shit. And I'm going to keep doing this until I'm fucking dead. Whether that's today or tomorrow, I'm not really concerned with that. But I'm not being scared of death. Like, I'm ready. I'm happy now. I'm ready for whatever. And I'd rather do that than live a lie. I don't want to be fucking 90 years old being like, oh shit, I did it wrong. Fuck that. I'm embracing it now because this is what we have, and this is all we have. And we got to embrace each other too. Other people on this path, we have to stay committed to this, right? Because no one's perfect. And I sometimes think there's people that if they lost their shit, I sometimes wonder, like, who's going to take up the mantle? I look at legendary people, like, what if Joe Rogan lost his shit, right? What if David Goggins lost his shit? What if Oprah lost her shit? What if some of these people all of a sudden just gave up and were like, fuck it. I'm not going to work out anymore. I'm not going to keep producing. I'm not going to keep posting on Instagram. I'm not going to keep making videos. It's hard then. Like, I'll have to pick up the slack. Someone will. So I think we all have to keep growing and be ready, right? Be ready in the wings. Be ready off stage in case something does happen and one of these people do fall off or they pass away. Someone else can be ready to step up and be like, hey, now I'm going to do some good shit and I'm going to spread some good shit. So I say we all keep doing it, and I'm going to. Fuck it. I'm back at it. We're back at it. Let's keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying to produce some of these videos and keep posting some of my shit on Instagram and YouTube and whatever. I may not do a half hour every day, which I was doing last month, and I did it like for like 1 full month worth of things. Everything that can be lost and created again. Cool. Everything that we can be lost and created again. Keep growing and let things come. Be accepting. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a process, right? It's a process. And that's the thing. Like, when we cling, you're right. When we cling, it's like, I created this thing. It's mine. It's my fucking girlfriend. It's my boyfriend. It's my money. It's my house. It can fall apart. You have to remember that. But if you're willing to accept, you're right. Things will come again. The universe keeps creating. The trees keep growing. There's beauty in it all, right? And I think we can find a way to love it. Like, there's a cool Zen saying that's like, the Zen master was sitting as his host burned to the ground, and the townspeople came around and were like, oh my God, your host burned to the ground. And he said, yeah, but look at the view of the moon now. Right? He was sitting there in front of his host and it burned down, and he was looking, but now the host was out of the way and he could see the moon. He was like, wow, but look at the moon. And sometimes we have to do these things. I found that over time. Like, sometimes I have to be happy about like slight little tiny relationships or slight little tiny interactions. And I have to be like, hey, that was beneficial, right? Like, that was cool. I'm happy that happened. So we do, I think, have to find ways to embrace the process too. I think also, yeah, what you're talking about here, everything that we can be lost and created again, keep growing and let things come, be accepted, yeah. Because it's a process. It's like the universe is like a swirl. Are you familiar with the Fibonacci sequence? You can Google that if you've not heard of it. It describes like the way that a pine cone looks, or the way that a sunflower looks. Even the way that like the pattern that a tree grows in, or a seashell. It's this pattern that's reoccurring throughout nature. It's like a mathematical equation that reoccurs across nature. It's called the Fibonacci sequence. And it's a pattern. It's like an expanding pattern, a growth, and it expands and then it contracts. It expands and then it contracts. And I think we as humans have to find a way to expand and contract with that. And sometimes it's weird and hard because our society doesn't really propagate that type of pattern, right? It doesn't really teach us how to engage with that sort of living. We have these weird little patterns that are like, well, you got to pay your taxes on Tuesday. You got to do a math test on fucking Wednesday. Da da da. Then you got to get married. You got to do this. You got to pay your car insurance. Da da da. And there's these patterns that aren't really in alignment with this like universal pattern. So it throws us off. So when we have things like things are created and they die and we have to accept that, these patterns are so different than what we're used to. And like they're so weird to us because we're used to living in a square building and the fucking instant gratification of fucking your Instagram updates and and instant gratification of fucking mainstream television and sugar and that. And so it's weird for us to get accepted with like, nah, you need to chill out and wait and accept how fast a tree can grow. The tree grows at the rate that it grows. And the more that you sit around trying to jack it full of fertilizers and shit, you're just affecting something different, right? We have to accept that things go at a certain pace. And you want to learn how to embrace that pace because it's going to drive you deeper into alignment with the whole fucking universe. Then you can accept and attract valuable shit and it will motherfucking come to you and you'll still be just like, oh, cool. A Lamborghini came my way. Cool. That's all right. Oh, the Lamborghini's gone? Hey, that's cool. It's all good. Because I'm embraced with the universe. Yeah, girl, exactly. With a whole bunch of plants. Yeah, I love it. The plants. The plants are our friends. The plants are our allies. Remember that. Plant allies can align you more deeply and more severely, if necessary. The plants are our teachers, and they can help us to get into alignment with the universe and with the way of things. Don't ever forget that. We're part of this planet. We come out of this planet, just like the trees, just like the fucking lions, just like the goddamn fucking spiders and mosquitoes. We're all coming out of this planet, just like the fucking universe is coming out, just like the planets are coming out of the universe. We're all this thing, all right? And sometimes it's hard to accept that and to embrace that because it can hurt. Wait a minute, I'm the planets and the moons and I'm also the trees, I'm also the fucking insects, I'm also that fucking dickhead that lives up the road that is fucking mean to me every time I see him. I'm also the fucking person across the planet in China who's working in a factory. This is all the same, but yet at the same time, I'm still just Luke here with the fucking man bun and the beard doing Instagram. It's hard sometimes to take all that in because we are just these little monkey people here in some ways, but we are still all this other stuff too. So there's a duality to things. There's a balance to things. And we have to strive towards accepting that and embracing that and finding a way to comprehend that while still enjoying the fact that we are here. And it's hilarious, right? So it's paradoxical. Life is paradoxical in ways. And it's also fucking beautiful and hilarious. So let's work at it. Let's all kind of work at this together, I think. So, all right, yeah, this was my first video back in like maybe a few days because I took a little bit of time off at the end of the month because I want to sort of recalibrate and see what the fuck am I doing here? Is this worth my time? Is this fucking pointless? And I think in leaning back off of it, I did feel, you made my morning. Okay, girl, thank you. Green Fairy Burial, you're a legend. Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate that. That's really cool. Okay, keep up with the good energy. Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I have gotten some good shout-outs and stuff, so I think I will keep hammering home on this. I do believe it's making some type of difference in the universe, and it's certainly better than the opposite of just spreading bullshit and gossip and nonsense. So I'm going to keep up with this stuff. All right? So I think that's going to be it for today. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves and maybe getting started on some type of meditation path as well. I'm encouraging people to do this 333 meditation challenge, 3 minutes a day, 3 times a week for 3 months. Try to get started, right? I'm going to do an hour today because that's what I do. That's what I need. We're all in it together. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Green Fairy Burial. Thank you, Agent Q. Thank you, everybody else who's watching. That's all for today. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.